Awesome. Well, you guys, welcome to tonight's new coach welcome reception. Cheers to all of our new coaches. This is actually one of our very first receptions that we are hosting. I was actually talking with Danielle at Beachbody's Leadership last month. I think it was last month. And we were just talking about how important it is to hear from other coaches on the team, hear from successful coaches, get to know them a little bit better, and to really kind of see the bigger picture. So we wanted to do this so that you guys feel connected because when I should introduce myself first. I'm Lisa Mohaje, by the way. So when Christina Solons and I first got started, our big national team is called Platinum Presenters. And when we first got started, the team was really small and it was really intimate and everyone knew everyone and we had this amazing culture going on and you just knew you were a part of something special. And while the team grew and grew and grew and grew and grew, it became really hard to connect with everyone. So that is our purpose of this event, is just to make everyone feel welcome, to let everyone know that they're a part of an amazing team, and to really help you see the bigger picture. We're going to keep it right at a half hour. That is our goal. I'm not promising you anything, but that's our goal, is to keep it at a half hour. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. But I think for myself, I've been coaching for a little over 9 years now. And so sometimes it's hard for me to go back and think about, well, what was it like when I was a new coach? And where was I? And what was going through my mind at that time? So just to give you kind of my story and kind of my thought process of where I was at then and where I'm at now, when I originally started Beachbody, I met Christina Solons in February of 2009, and she was doing the Turbo Kick certifications for Beachbody, or for Powder Blue at the time, so directly for Chalene Johnson. And she came down to my central Illinois town, little tiny town of 1,300 people, and did a certification. I had already been using Beachbody programs, so I've lost 60 pounds total with Beachbody. And at that point, I had already been doing it on VHS. And in fact, I had a coach that was assigned to me by Beachbody. And I remember he would message me a couple of times about doing a webinar. Would I like to hop on? And finally I was like, yeah, I'm going to check it out. And he never replied. And I can tell you that that is like one of the greatest blessings, that he didn't reply to my response, because I can tell you without a doubt that if I had signed up with anyone else besides this team, I would not have been successful. Because when I first got signed up, I was recently divorced. I was a single mom. And raise your hand if you've ever known anyone to be really, really successful at like Tupperware or Mary Kay or Avon, anything like that. Yes, awesome. Okay, well, I didn't. I remember my mom having parties, but I always just thought those were like women that were kind of doing it for fun, or maybe to make a little extra money. So for me going into this business, I set the bar really low. I was like, if I can just make $100 a month, that would be like awesome. I was a secretary. I was working full time in a corn refinery plant. I was a new single mom. Like, all of these bill collectors were calling foreclosure notices, repo notices, the power was turned off. It was like one thing after another. So for me, it was like, who was going to sign up with me? Like, I'm a secretary. I have no leadership skills. Like, put me in front of an audience and my face turns beet red and I got that grandma shaky voice. So I was like, I just want $100 and maybe I could make some friends, because I had no social life. I was in this town, like I said, of 1,300 people. And so I really didn't have a whole lot of financial expectations. And I thought, well, maybe I'll make some friends, something like that. And when I joined the team, it was like my whole life changed. And so while I had all of this negative stuff going on in my life, so right after I'd signed up, I had just gotten divorced. Right after I signed up, my grandma passed away. I had to pull my daughter out of her private school. I was eventually able to sell our house before it was foreclosed on because my dad's name was on the mortgage also. And I was like, okay, it's one thing to screw up my credit, but I can't screw up my dad's also. So I was finally able to sell the house. And my daughter Tira and I, we moved into kind of this dark, dingy apartment. I had a mattress on the floor and just dealing with all of this mess. Like my ex filed for bankruptcy, so all those bills were now mine. My other grandmother passed away. That was like 6 months into my coaching career. But I remember my boss at the time saying, like, how are you so positive? Like, what's wrong with you? And I know now that it was because of being in the positive influence of the team and having something, a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging and a sense of doing something that I could be proud of, maybe for the first time in my life. I realized that God placed this business in my life for that purpose. So I remember just not really having a whole lot of confidence, but I was really, really excited. Like I was doing something cool. And so we didn't have all of these scripts. We didn't have challenge groups. We didn't have challenge packs. We didn't have anything. So for me, it was more just being excited about what it was. And it's still true today because you can put out a post out there that's like 2 sentences long, and if your excitement is coming through that, people are like, oh my gosh, sign me up. I don't care what it is. And I'm just going to kind of jump to an example that really made me realize how simple this business is, and sometimes we overcomplicate it. It can be very, very overwhelming as a new coach. You're being thrown all of this information. You're not sure exactly what to do. You're worried about what people are going to think. And that's how it can get really overwhelming, and then we overcomplicate it on top of that. We want to have the perfect post, and we want to have the perfect transformation before we start talking to people. But I actually shared this on my team page a couple weeks ago. One of my girlfriends tried to call me, and I'm like, or if you're like me, if the phone rings, do you actually answer it? Because I don't. It's like, oh, somebody's calling me. I'm not answering. So one of my friends called and I didn't answer it, and she texted and she was like, hey, I got something exciting to talk to you about. And I was like, what could that be? And so I called her back and she's like, hey, so I'm really excited about this thing. You know, I'm not really telling a lot of people because, you know, I don't really want a lot of people to know about it. But I found this lady that's selling basically knockoff handbags. So Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Jimmy Choo, any bag you want, she can get it. Looks exactly like the same thing. Do you mind if I add you into this group? And that was all she said. And I immediately said, sure, I'll check it out. So I realized that with this business, it's the same thing. Like we don't need some fancy formal script. We just have to be excited about it and short and sweet and share from the heart. So back to kind of my story of where I was and how I got to where I am today. It was really from plugging into the team and just believing in myself, I guess, having people, the team believe in me before I believed in myself. And then it kind of started to wear off. And then I was like, oh, hey, maybe I really do believe in myself. And so it was kind of one thing after another. It was about 18 months in the business that I had tripled my full-time income. So when my job at my full-time position was eliminated, they're like, hey, Lisa, we love you, you're great, but your job's been eliminated. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't really want to work here anyway because I've got this side gig that, I'm doing pretty awesome at. So they tried to find me some other jobs. They wanted to move me to Chicago, and I was like, well, I don't really want to move to Chicago because then I'd be locked into relocation, blah, blah, blah. And so I quit my full-time job. I was the single mom that had that good job. In my town, there was like 3 factories. And if you got a job there, like you worked there till you were 60 or 70 years old, and then you retired. And so I retired from my full-time job in my early 30s. And then I moved my daughter, Tira, and I from central Illinois to Atlanta, Georgia. And my life has really just been forever changed. Like, I still, to this day, sometimes, like right now, when I'm talking about my store, I'm like, is this real? Like, is this real? It is real. So within 5 years, I joined the Millions Club with Beachbody. So that means within 5 years, I earned an accumulative of $1 million. So 4 years after filing from bankruptcy, I had earned an accumulative of $1 million with Beachbody. And so I like to share that because when I started, I didn't understand the big picture of this business. I thought, okay, I'm going to get a discount and maybe I'll sell some P90X videos, and that was it. So I remember Christine Dwyer. She's the president of our big team. I remember her earning like her first $1,000 check, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. That's awesome for her, but that's never going to happen for me. And so I remember my mentor at the time was like, Lisa, like, that's going to be you. Like, next year at this time, you're going to be making 6 figures. And I can remember the exact spot where I was. I was standing in line at Disneyland in California, and my mentor was saying, Lisa, next year at this time, you're going to be earning a 6-figure income. And I was like, no, that sounds great. Okay, maybe. And so, I just like to share that with you guys because no matter where you're at, maybe you are a new coach and you just want the discount, that's awesome. We still want you here. We are still loving you. We are still wrapping our arms around you, welcoming you. Maybe you just want your Shakeology paid for, but I still feel like maybe you just need to hear that, just so that seed's planted in the back of your mind. So when people start to ask you like, hey, Rachel, what are you doing? You look amazing. Amy, like, what? You have so much energy. Like, your skin looks so awesome. You're like, this is working. Like, this is how this happens. So, guys, that is just a little bit about my story. I'm actually going to turn it over to our next speaker, who is Danielle. And I got to meet Danielle probably 6 years ago. She came to a leadership retreat with as a guest with her coach, which is Tara Carr. And it's been just amazing to watch her build her business, explode, and grow into this incredible leader and this like just total girl boss that I just see her inspiring and mentoring so many women and young girls as well. So Danielle, are you ready?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to come on here and speak. First of all, I want to just edify real quick Lisa and just know that, you know, she's an amazing leader and we are so honored to just be part of her team and to just get to hear from you. So Lisa, you're the bomb. I also just need to start by saying that I skipped every single presentation in college because I'm so afraid of speaking in public. So I like Lisa said, get all red and break down hives or whatever. I don't do that really, but I'm like sweating already. So I speak very fast, but what I want you most importantly is not to necessarily hear my story, but to hear things that could possibly change and change your life for you. Like when Lisa was talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's where I started. That's how I felt. So any little light bulbs that go off, I just encourage you to write those down and think through that. So for me, I started this business about 7 years. It's almost 7 years. I was a recent college graduate, so I had just graduated with my master's degree. I was working 2 crazy jobs. I was working at a domestic violence shelter, as well as working as an instructor at a community college. So it was very overwhelming. I had so much going on. And at the same time, I was 50 pounds overweight. I was extremely unhealthy and very unhappy. I was one of those people that I thought like people were just mean people. And I thought I had to get you before you would get me kind of a thing. And I just always wore like this evil look on my face because I didn't want anyone to like smile at me. It was really sad. Thank you, personal development. But so that's kind of where I started. And at the same time, I'm sitting here watching The Biggest Loser, like, oh my gosh, I really need to do something about my life. I'm also eating McDonald's twice a day and drinking 6 pops a day. So that's where I started in this business. And I was reaching out to, I saw Tara. So Tara's my sponsor, and she was posting all over Facebook for like 5 or 6 months. And at the same time, I was texting my friends. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you see Tara again. We went to high school together. I'm like, she is so annoying. There is no way this workout helped her lose 62 pounds. There is no way this shake actually works. It's so fake. She just wants to make money off of all of us. But what they didn't know was that at the same time, I was also messaging her like, girlfriend, can you please help me? Because I'm lost. I've tried everything. I've tried the gyms. I've tried eating salads, and I hate salads. Can you do anything for me? And so she was very nice for 5 months. And finally she said, Danielle, you're either going to do this or not. But if you're really serious about changing your life, now is probably the time to do it. And I needed her to say that. And I needed her to continue being annoying on Facebook. So that way I knew that she was always going to be there to help me when I actually made the decision that I was ready to get over my excuses and do something different. So I said yes. At the same time, she said, hey, you could get a discount on this at the same time if you sign up as a coach. And I'm always for a discount. So I said, sure, I'll sign up as a discount coach, but I am not interested in working this business. I have my master's degree. Those kinds of things don't work. They're not for me. So please don't talk to me about that. And then I got my Shakeology and I tried a couple times and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And then I started watching some of the training videos where they said, well, if you help one person, you can make $30. And I'm like, oh my gosh, an extra $30? Do you know what I could do with an extra $30 in my life? And so I just kept watching the trainings and I started realizing this crazy, amazing potential, but all because of helping people. Because my degree is in sociology. So my number one focus is always helping people. I have to serve people. I can't just want to sell you something just to make money. But I started believing in the product. So my first coach that I signed up was my dad, because I told my parents, like, okay, I think you really need this Shakeology stuff in your life. I don't know anything about it, but it worked for my friend and it tastes good to me. So I believe that it's going to work. And so I signed up my dad. And I just started being annoying on Facebook just like Tara was. And I started having people come to me and say, oh my gosh, like I think I could do that. And once that started happening, I realized, again, the potential was there. And I just started pouring into that. I was working, at that point, I had gotten a full-time job at the Ohio State University, working full-time there. And I would come home in the evenings and I would just pour into people. I would work my business, but really I was just talking to people. I would stay up so late just because I was having so much fun just interacting with people and helping people. One of the big things that I was really concerned with was telling people what to do, right? Telling them that they needed to buy something, telling them all this stuff. And what I started doing was instead, I just started asking people questions. I'm like, well, how could your life change if you did this? Or what's working for you right now? What's not working for you? And the more I asked questions, the more I was in control of the conversation. And they just poured into me and gave me their whole life story. And that built trust. And that's how I really built my business, is just those relationships and building that trust between people. So then when I offer them something, they're like, oh yeah, sure. If you say so, I'm all for it. So that's where I started. And again, it was, okay, could I cover my Shakeology with this business? Could I help 3 new people every single month and cover my Shakeology? From there, then it was like, okay, well, I did that. Let's do something else. And so then I started saying, well, what if I could pay off my student loan every single month with just Beachbody? Not any money from anywhere else, but just Beachbody. And so then I started doing that. And then I got really excited about paying off my student loan. And I called the people and I was like, okay, how much would I have to pay extra for every single month for the next 3 years if I want to pay it off in 3 years instead of 10? And so they gave me that number and I said, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it with Beachbody alone. I'm not going to use any other income, just Beachbody. And so that's exactly what I did. I set that goal. I paid off all of my student loans. And I honestly had no intention of leaving my full-time job, mainly because everyone made me scared of leaving a government job where I had really great insurance and all the, special things. So I never had that in my mind. But then when it came to a point to where I was doubling, tripling, quadrupling my income from my full-time job that I worked 40 hours at with my part-time business, coaching business that I did in the evening that I actually enjoyed. And at that point I said, you know what, I think it's time that I set a date and I leave my job. One of the biggest problems that I encountered on my journey was a lot of people always said, find your why. Find this why that makes you cry. And my sponsor, her husband was in the military. He was serving in the war. And so she was like, okay, I have to bring him home. Like, this is literally life or death. And she made that commitment and she made that happen. And because she believed in herself, I started to believe in myself. But at the same time, I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't have that kind of a situation. Like I'm just over here trying to pay off my student loans, trying to have some fun, trying to travel the world. And so that is something where I just realized that I had to constantly set those small goals every single time just to keep myself motivated and moving forward. So now I work this Beachbody business full-time. It's still very part-time hours. And I volunteer and spend time with my significant other and our German Shepherds. And we do travel, and we'll be going to Paris very soon. So to say that this business has changed my life, again, like I said in the beginning, I was very unhappy. And when I first was told to read personal development, I was like, okay, that's for crazy people. That's for like people that need to go see a psychologist or psychiatrist. Like, that's not for me. My head's good. And then once I started reading like the first chapter, I was like, oh, okay, I need this. Everybody needs this. And so just the friendships, the family, the team, the happiness that comes along with just taking control of your life and your health has just drastically changed my life. So that's all I got, Lisa.
No, that was amazing. And I love that each of us has a different story, and it's something different that we're working towards, but at the same time, we can all relate to it, because student loan debt is no joke. Any kind of debt is no joke, whether it's credit card debt or student loans, whatever. I think we can all relate to having bills and having debt and having that overwhelming feeling of, how am I ever going to pay this off? So what you've done is really, really amazing, and I'm so proud of you. I just appreciate you hopping on and taking time out tonight to share with us. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jamie. Jamie is actually one of Christina Solon's diamonds, and Jamie and I have kind of an interesting connection because remember I told you guys in the beginning that we did a I did a Turbo Kick certification with Christina back in 2009, and Jamie just happened to be in that same certification course. And then on top of it, her best friend was sisters with a good friend of mine in my little tiny town in Central Illinois, so it's kind of like this weird connection. So
crazy.
Yeah. Okay, Jamie, I'm going to go ahead and just turn it over to you.
Okay, yeah, so my name is Jamie Simpson. I live in South Central Illinois, so I'm not up near Chicago where all the rest of my team is, my upline team. I live in a small town kind of over just an hour outside St. Louis, east of St. Louis. And I did meet Lisa. That was the beginning kind of my I knew what Beachbody was because I did have Turbo Fire, and I had actually been introduced to Turbo Kick. So when I decided to do certification, I had zero interest in the opportunity that Lisa obviously took, and it bums me out now, but right time for everything, right? And so I truly believe that there's a reason that I waited till when I waited, and I truly believe that same kind of story had I followed up with a coach or went with my gut, I don't know that I would be where I am. I have a great love for my upline team and all the coaches that are part of Dream Extreme that I've gotten to know in relationships are the biggest reason, because I'm a connector. That's what my friends tell me anyway. So anyway, I have been a coach since 2014, which is crazy. It's almost been 5 years, and it feels like the blink of an eye. But I'm a wife, a mother of two. I have a 20-year-old son and a 17-year-old daughter. And so I'm in the later stages of raising kids, and it's crazy. So I am also a realtor. I'm a never stay-at-home mom, taxi, super fan, My kids both played 3 sports, and during junior high years, it was 4. So I was never home. And if you know anything about real estate, as much as flexibility as you're supposed to have, it's never on your schedule. It's always on theirs. And I love doing it. I still do it. I've started in 1998. I still do it, but there was just something that was missing from my life. And so being a stay-at-home mom, I feel like one of the things that I've realized after talking to so many different people is the identity that you don't have. I have a lot of friends who have careers, and they went to college and had this great plan, and they followed it, and it was amazing, and they have these careers that they loved. I have friends who have these careers that they hate. And so, you just go about trying to find your identity. And my kids are getting older, and they didn't need me as much. And so I really started to struggle with just who I was and what my story was and what I belonged to. I mean, you know, I'm Jamie, I'm Tommy's wife, and I'm Brady's mom, and I'm Hannah's mom, and I sell real estate. And then it's like, that's it, you know, like I just do those things. And so in 2012, 13, I kind of hit a really bad slump. My marriage wasn't going at all the way I thought it was. My kids didn't need me. I found myself folding clothes and sitting at home alone. Real estate really wasn't, I wasn't fired up about it. And so I put on about 30 pounds. And since I hadn't, you know, I had actually, long story short, I blocked Christina. I hid Christina, my now coach, right after I got certified, or I got certified because she was too bubbly and she was too positive, and she had all these, like, you know, quotes, and she's like, you know, never miss a Monday and you go get it. And, you know, all these things that were so annoying to me, and realizing now that that's the place I was. And so sum it up, like, you're going to have people that are going to be me, that are going to be like, you're too much right now, but don't give up on them. Because many years later, and that was 2008 or 2009, I think. I was trying to think. I think it was 9 when we got, yeah. So 2014, I unblocked her and I messaged her and I go, hey, yo, it's Jamie, what round of turbo are you on? Because I had completely stopped teaching turbo. I completely stopped working out. Like I said, I gained 30 pounds, and I completely stopped wearing jeans too. And so I reached out to her, and she was very gracious. And as I was, you know, trolling her page for the annoyances that were still there, I noticed that there's this program that, you know, she promised 15 pounds in 21 days. And I'm like, So I bit. I had literally no money in my bank account. My husband will tell you we went negative on that purchase right there. So that cost us an extra $28 in bank fees. But it was important to me to not feel the way I was feeling. And I thought anything to get out of this. So I started 21 Day Fix in February of 2014. I signed up as a discount coach. I told my husband I was just going to do it for a couple months just to kind of get through the shakes and maybe sell it to some of the girls that were in my turbo class. And then I was going to quit because I just didn't. I thought it was kind of a fad thing, and I didn't think it would really last. And so I did that. And I mean, I didn't quit, but I signed up. And then I hit Success Club. I want to say it was like in the teens, my first month in February, in like 3 days, I hit Success Club 15. And then in my second month in, it was like 28 or 30. I don't even remember. It was insane. Like, I just basically put out the post. I shared my story, and I had not lost the weight. I think I had lost 6 pounds at that point. But I shared my story about where I was at and what I was doing. And I had 66 people respond to my very first post. I'm interested. Of course, you know how that goes. About 10 of them bit. But, you know, it was just that I shared it and it went. And then almost 5 years later, here I am. And so I really feel like it doesn't matter the stage of life you're at. I think when you relate, you're going to relate with people no matter where they are in their walk of life. As I get older, you know, I obviously am not reaching the 21-year-olds like I used to, although I'm trying to get my son to reach them. So, you know, that's a work in progress. But I also am one that I believe I believe in this company. I believe in this business. And it wasn't about money. Christina asked me, what do I want to make? And I said, 200 extra a month. We needed the money, but I just thought that was realistic. Like, I gotta make more. And my checks right off the bat were bigger than that because I went out and I shared my story, but it wasn't about money. And so I still to this day say, if all of my team quits on me, I'm still here because I believe in what we do, and I believe in our product, and I believe in the workouts and the trainers, and I believe in everybody in our team. I believe in you guys. I believe in this unity that we have, and, you know, this girls hang together thing. Guys too. Sorry, I know there's guys in here, but, you know, we all hang together. But there's just one. Okay. Hi, Gary. But I just think that, we're a unit. And so you have to find your why. And I think that's the first thing you have to do right off the bat is know why you're here. And it has to be for your own journey, but also because we have a deeper passion. I've seen people come and go. I can tell when they fade off. And so it's important that you know your why, because until you know that, you'll quit at the first sign that nobody's buying anything from you. And that's something else I learned. People don't buy anything from you. They buy you. They buy who you are. They buy that connection they have with you. And so here's to another, 25 years. So that's all. That's my story. Yeah. Here, this is, it's not wine, but it is vodka. It's a Monday.
Oh, Jamie, you are so crazy. Something that I'm just picking up from them, just reminded of, is that everybody has their time. Everybody has their timing. And for me, I met Christina in February of 2009. I didn't sign up until July. For me, it wasn't because I thought she was annoying. I loved her. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be just like her. She's so cool. And I felt like this little country girl. I was this little country girl, and I was so envious of her. I was actually intimidated by her. But for me, it was just what was going on in my life. I got divorced in June, and I signed up in July. And my birthday was in July, and so I used my birthday money, and that's when I signed up. So I want you guys to remember that as you're talking to people, think back to the process it took for you to sign up. Chances are someone has been inviting you to this business for a while. It might have been a month. It might have been a year. It might have been multiple years, just like Jamie. It was 5 years later that she signed up. And I can tell you I've had people sign up years later after talking to them. It's whatever is going on in their life. A lot of times people have, a lot going on that it's just not the right time. And if they had signed up at that time, it wouldn't have been right for them. So as you're talking to people, don't get discouraged so easily because someone doesn't say yes right away. You're planting seeds, and then you're watering it, and then you're growing it, and then you're going to have this beautiful garden. So just keep that in the back of your mind that right now as a new coach, you're talking to people, you're planting seeds, and chances are they're not going to say yes right away. You're going to get some people that are, but you got to have kind of thick skin in the business and just know that right now, especially as a new coach, your coach, the person that you signed up with, is going to help you with all of this. They're going to walk you through everything and be there for you. So don't feel like you can't reach out to your coach. Don't feel silly. Don't feel like, oh, I'm bothering them. Trust me, when your coach hears from you, they're going to be so excited. They're like, yes, my new coach just messaged me. I'm so excited. They want to hear from you. So just keep that in mind, that the more you interact with your coach, with the team, with the system that we have, the better it is. So are you guys ready for some action items? I put a couple of things over in the chat before you guys hopped on. I don't know if you had a chance to see that. One is the fourth quarter business plan that just has some dates I wanted you guys to keep in mind that are coming up. A week from today, we're doing a Emerald in 24-hour training. It's a 20-minute presentation next Monday night that we're going to really show you numbers. So for you guys that are numbers people, this is going to be the one for you. But we're going to show you why is it cool to be Emerald? Why is that your goal? What does it mean to be in the Cool Kids Club? Why should you be Emerald? How do you earn an income from Team Cycle bonus? And show you actual income from coaches on the team. So you're definitely going to want to be on that. And then November 26th actually starts off our next Teen Challenge group, which is Bananas Year-End Challenge group, because we are getting ready for Shaun T's Transform 20. So we're doing a Shaun T program of your choice. And then November 27th, I'm actually doing a business presentation sneak peek. So it'll be a webinar. That's something for you to invite guests to. So I wanted you guys to have those dates. They're in that first link that I shared with you, but I wanted to make sure I go over those with you so you have them. The sneak peek, I get a lot of questions about that. Like, can I invite guests? That's what that event is for. It's for your guests to hear the business presented for you and get your team rolling in the right direction. So you definitely want to invite to that. I'm just going to do a quick screen share to go over the next link that I shared with you guys there. Don't look at my messy desktop. I know for some people that would drive other people crazy, but that's my life. All right, so your action items. We promised you we were going to give you a few tips to help you get started, what you need to do right now. Before next week, we've got that Emerald in 24 hours training, but what you should be doing this week right now, share with your coach. You're going to create your list of names. That is like the very most important thing that you have. I remember someone saying, without your list, your business is dead. So you're going to constantly continue to add to your list of names, but do a brain dump. Download your Facebook list. Did you know that you can go through your Facebook and actually download your Facebook friends list? I bet you have way more people that you're connected with than you realize. So you're not going to reach out to all of those people right away. You know, your first goal is to get 100 names, but it might jog your memory of someone else that you know. Like, for example, if you write down Carrie that you went to high school with, you might be like, oh yeah, I remember her sister Missy. So then you're going to remember more people, write down a list of names, and start connecting with them, being a friend. Hey, how are you? Reaching out, going through their Facebook, seeing what they've been up to. You're going to share with your coach your top 10 people. So these are people that you think would be amazing in the business, people that you think would be great at challenge groups, or people that would be a good reference for you. And something to keep in mind is don't judge who you think is going to be interested and who isn't, because a lot of times it's the opposite. Like, you may have this person that you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to be so amazing. They're going to be so excited. They're going to sign up. And then you introduce it to them. Maybe you invite them to our sneak peek and they're like, I don't want anything to do with that. Or it might be somebody that never even made your list. That was my first coach. I wasn't even prospecting people. She was the director at the YMCA, and she knew I was a coach because I was talking about P90X and stuff. She actually came to me and signed up as a coach. And I was like, what? You want to sign up as a coach? Okay. So you want to identify your top 10 people, and you want to share that with your coach. The other things that you want to share with your coach are your goals. So you want to really fine-tune your fitness and nutrition goals. What does that look like for you? And when you write it down on paper, something magical happens. There's this whole scientific study that when you write things down on paper, it's more likely to become reality. So write this down on paper. Your fitness and nutrition goals. By joining this team, by joining Beachbody, what do you want your fitness and nutrition to look like? Are you looking to lose 10 pounds? Are you wanting to wear some skinny jeans? Are you thinking about summer? Are you wanting to, cut sugar out of your diet? Are you wanting to lower your blood pressure? What are your fitness and nutrition goals? Next, financial goals. What kind of income are you looking to get out of this business? And I think Jamie touched on that when Christina first asked her, she was like, well, maybe just $200. She wanted to earn an extra $100 than me. I just wanted $100 a month because same thing. I was like, well, nobody's going to join me in this. So if I just sell videos, that would be great. But this is kind of the magical question that I use to get people really thinking beyond that. And for example, how would an extra $1,000 a month positively impact your family right now? When I word it that way, it's a little bit different, right? Because I'm pretty sure that the majority of you, if I said, what would you do with $1,000 right now? How would that impact your family? You already know. Pay off debt, get a new car, go on vacation. Maybe it's move into a new house, save up for retirement, pay for Christmas presents. How would an extra $1,000 a month impact your family right now? What is your financial goal for this business? Emotional goals. I shared with you guys in the beginning that I didn't have any friends. I was working at the corner plant, and I literally was like, I would come home from work, I would go pick up Tiara, and then we would come home and sit. I had no social life. I had no friends. I had no community. So what are your emotional goals that you're wanting to achieve out of this business? Are you wanting to, really build a tribe of your own? Are you looking for these deeper friendships, deeper connections with people? Are you, looking to inspire, motivate? What are your emotional goals right now? And your assignment is to share that with your coach as soon as possible, like tonight or tomorrow, next 24 hours, that is your to-do list. After that, your goals are to participate in a challenge group. If you're not in one right now, we have the one on November 26th, which is perfect. It's the Monday after Thanksgiving, and invite 3 people to join you. And remember what I shared with my knockoff handbags. She didn't have any fancy script. She was just excited. She was like, hey, I found this girl. So I'm going to use the same type of thing. Hey, I just met this girl. She lost 60 pounds working out at home. I don't really know exactly what she's doing, but all I know is I want to lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds. I really want you to do this with me. Can I count you in? Simple. Keep it simple. Don't feel like you have to have perfect, professional, great punctuation. Just be yourself and be excited. But your goal is to participate in that challenge group because we're in the 4th quarter, guys. We are gearing up to January. So people are watching you right now. And yeah, they might be focused on the holidays. They're focused on pumpkin pie. They're focused on stuffing. They're focused on buying Christmas gifts, but they're watching you. So make sure that you are working on your transformation right now and still inviting people, because even if they don't join you right now, in January, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember Sherry was doing that program. And I know Isabel has lost, all this weight and she looks amazing. Let me go back and ask her what she was doing. Your first goal is to pay back your initial investment, and that's by helping 3 people. So when you're helping people get started with that 160 challenge pack, you're going to earn a $50 bonus. So when you help 3 people, you've earned back your initial investment from that $660 investment, just about, right? And then when you do that, you've also now hit Success Club. So with Success Club, and when you hit Emerald status, that's having 2 people join your team. Now you're going to be eligible for receiving free customers from Beachbody. You're also going to be eligible for Team Cycle Bonus. Team Cycle Bonus is where the big income comes in. So right now in the beginning, you're going to earn that 25% commission. You're going to earn the bonuses off of your challenge packs. But the long-term income comes in from when you start to build your team. It's not going to happen overnight. It does take time to build and develop. That's why we tell you to commit to being here a year from now, because it's going to take some time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Is that how that saying goes? We want you to build a foundation for a strong business and not build something super fast that crumbles. So we want you to do it the right way. We want you to start with helping 3 people. Get Success Club, get your Emerald status. Those are your first goals. You're going to want to plug in. When I was a new coach, I was just thinking of kind of some of the activities that I did. I was working full time. I used to listen to the National Wake Up Call on my break. I would meet people on my lunch hour for coffee. I would go to McDonald's, and I didn't even have a laptop, guys. I was a secretary, so I was able to use the laptop from the department, and I would take it to Starbucks, or I would take it to, wherever, because I didn't have a laptop and I didn't have Wi-Fi at home. So that's one myth or excuse eliminated. But make sure that you're on the Monday National Wake Up Call. That's a call that's put on by corporate. plug into the team call that that your coach is hosting for you. Again, the team calls like next Monday, the Emerald in 24 hours. Make sure you're plugging into that. Check the team page regularly. And events. You're going to want to get to local events and national events as much as possible. My car was repoed 5 months after I started as my coach. I can't talk, guys. It's late. My car was repoed like 5 months after I became a coach. So I was driving a beater. Like, it had like 170,000 miles on it. I drove that car literally all over. I was in Illinois. I drove to Ohio. I drove to Tennessee. I drove to Indiana, and I went there multiple times. I went to Chicago all the time for, because like Jamie said, that's where a lot of our team members are. So make sure that you're getting to local events. There's a national quarterly event that takes place in your area. We just had it, so the next one will be in January. But make sure that you check out CoachSummit.com. CoachSummit.com. That is our national event that's going to take place in Indianapolis next summer. You're going to want to be there because we have a big party. You're going to have trainings from, successful coaches in the team. Your Rachel Hollis from Girl Wash Your Face, that author, is going to be there, an amazing speaker. You get to work out with the trainers. You get to see all of us. So why not be there? Commit to being here a year from now. Get your ticket for Summit and make sure that you make that commitment. Don't wait to start sharing your journey. A lot of times we want, like I've mentioned, we want to have that perfect transformation. You know what? There's so many people out there that just want to lose 3 pounds. So even if you do the 3-day refresh and you lose 3 pounds, somebody out there is dying to lose 3 pounds, to lose that muffin top. So don't wait to share your journey. You have a journey because you've made a decision to do something, and that is something that a lot of people don't have the guts to do. So be proud of that. Start sharing your journey about how excited you are for your future, and share your goals with people on social media. But don't wait to start sharing your journey. Treat your personal growth as a priority. I know that was mentioned already for myself. I read Danielle Steele romance novels in high school. That's it. I didn't know anything about this personal development. I was like, But your business is only going to grow as much as you do, and you have to treat it as a priority. Like, this is something, I've been a coach for 9 years. I still have to do it because the mind is a very powerful thing. The mind is a very powerful thing, and it can be really, it's like one of those things where you start to have a little bit of a doubt, and you start to feed that doubt. And you've got to get control of your mind. You got to get control of your confidence. You got to get control of your belief system. And you've also got to learn more about how this business works. So the 2 books that I'm recommending are Sarah Robbins' Rock Your Network Marketing Business. And then there's another book called The Magic of Thinking Big. And then ultimately, guys, you just have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in this business. Remember why you signed up. Just like Jamie was saying, you've got a strong why. We all do. And sometimes it's just a matter of really pulling that out and digging it out. Because when you ask someone, oh, well, how much money do you want to make? It's like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe $100. No, if you had an extra $1,000 right now, how would that impact your family's life? How would it feel if you lost 10 pounds? How would it feel if you lost 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 100 pounds? What does that look like for you? How would you feel? How would it feel to have an amazing friendship and community system that you just have this sense of belonging or sense of purpose, the feeling of helping other people? And the reason why we did this tonight and asked Danielle and Jamie to speak and share our stories is just so that you have that belief confirmed a little bit more of the potential for this business and what it really truly is about. And it's about life change. It's about changing people's lives, starting with your own. Don't feel, a lot of times we feel guilty for saying, like, I want to make a lot of money. But you can't do things without money. You need money to pay bills. You need money to pay it forward and help other people. So don't feel guilty about that. It's only bad if you do bad things with it. But if you're using it to change your family's life and you're using it to help other people, then there's nothing bad about that. And knowing that you're changing your family's destiny. My daughter and I, we went to a movie today at 1:45 in the afternoon. Tira's 21, and we've been through a whirlwind that I just didn't even get into today. But having that freedom with your family to be able to do whatever you want, when you want, where you want, you can't get that from working for someone else. You can get it from working for yourself and focusing on that dream and showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, and learning and growing as a person and plugging into the team and just knowing that you're a part of something special and that you have an amazing, incredible gift to offer to people, whether it was the single mom like myself, whether it was Danielle who, had all of this student loan debt, or it was Jamie who was the mom that just lost her identity, or maybe it's the dad that's been laid off. You have an incredible gift to offer to other people. It's a present, and it's up to them if they want to accept it or not. But you know that at the end of the day, you did your best. You did your duty to present that to them, and then it's just a matter of time. No doesn't always mean no. A lot of times it means not right now. So thanks guys so much for joining our new coach reception. I know I went a little bit over. I like to talk, especially when it's late and I start talking pig Latin. But does anyone have any questions before we hop off? You can either put them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. If not, I know there was somebody had their hand raised. Linda had her hand raised, but she might have been just agreeing to what someone else was saying. I'm not sure. But Jamie and Danielle, thanks so much, guys, for hopping on and sharing your story. I know that everyone on here was just inspired, and hopefully their fire has been lit even more with the potential and the possibilities of what this business has for them. So thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.